Hey guys, ChaPow here, back with another Destiny video for you guys. Now, in this video, I'm going to be talking about an argument that's kind of been annoying me. Like, it's kind of annoying that I've seen over the internet over the last few days since Destiny 2 beta come out. I saw it a bit beforehand as well, but now it seems really prevalent in, like, YouTube comment sections and all that. And also, Charlie's been saying it quite a lot. And it's basically the argument that Destiny 2 might as well just be Destiny 1.5, or that it might as well just be an expansion. Now, I'm going to go over why I don't get this argument, because to me it just doesn't make any sense. But basically, I've got a list here of things that they're going to keep the same in Destiny 2, or that's confirmed. Things that they're changing and reworking, new things, and also things that they're getting rid of. So, I've got quite a long list. Hopefully this won't be too long of a video. But anyway, let's just get right into the things that they are keeping the same. Now, on the list of things here that I've got that they've kept the same, there aren't a lot of things, but basically, they're keeping a few characters. We know they're keeping the Ghost, they're keeping Amanda Holiday, they're keeping the Vanguards of Ikora, Ray, Cade, Six, and Commander Zavala, and they're also keeping Lord Shaxx. But that's pretty much it. Like, people like the Speaker and Eris Morn we haven't seen yet, so we don't know if they're confirmed to stay. I kind of want Eris Morn to stay, but I don't know about the Speaker, because he was a bit boring and didn't really have a lot to do. But maybe they might be doing something with him, so we'll have to wait and see. They're also keeping grenades, like they're keeping things like lightning grenades, trip mine grenades, axiom bolts, solar grenades, things like that. They're keeping quite a lot of those the same. I think they've changed one and they've given Sentinel a void wall grenade. I think that's pretty much all that they've changed, apart from like swapping over. Apart from that, they all pretty much have the exact same grenades. They all have basically the same melee animations, so like Warlocks have the Palm Strike, Titans have the Punch, and Hunters have the Knife, or at least on Golden Gun, but on Arc Strider they have a Punch. Don't know why they've done that, it's just a little weird change, but oh well, don't really change much. The gun mechanics and types are all pretty much the same. That's good, because Destiny 1's gun mechanics was one of the best things about the game. Everything, all the guns worked perfectly, you know, they sounded good, they worked well, everything like that. It was all good, the gun mechanics were totally fine, and also the types that they're keeping, things like auto rifles, scout rifles, pulse rifles, hand cannons, sidearms, fusion rifles, snipers, shotguns, rocket launchers, swords, LMGs. Are they even keeping LMGs? I haven't seen an LMG yet, so I don't actually know. They might still keep them. I haven't heard anything about them removing them, but I don't know if they're actually keeping them. So, they're also keeping quite a few enemies. Now, this is because obviously we're still in the same solar system. We're still on very similar planets, so the enemies aren't going to change drastically. But I am hoping that they do add some new enemies somehow. Maybe if we go to, like, Pluto or something, and there's a very different type of enemy, that would be quite cool. And that's pretty much it, but we know that they're keeping the Taken, the Cabal, Vex, and Fallen. Taken we saw in the PlayStation exclusive strike, I believe. Vex, Fallen, and Cabal we've all versed. Obviously, Cabal are the main antagonists of the entire storyline. So they're keeping those, but I'm not sure about things like Hive or Splices, because I haven't seen any of those, like, in any videos or trailers or anything. So I'm not actually sure about that. So that's as far as I know. That's pretty much it in terms of things that they're keeping the same. So they're pretty much keeping a few attributes as well. I don't think I mentioned that. Like things like when you get a kill with a void ability on Voidwalker, it then causes the enemy to explode. Things like that. They're keeping those pretty much exactly the same. But anyway, let's go on to the things that they are changing or reworking. Alright guys, now let's talk about the things that they are changing or reworking. Now, these are basically just small little things that are still in Destiny 2 from Destiny 1, but they are basically just changing them slightly. So now, the movement mechanics. On Titan and Warlocks, they are so vastly different. They feel a lot slower, but they also feel more controlled, which is a good thing, because it means that you can't have people who you get weak then running away from fights. But it can also be a slightly annoying thing, because you might be used to Titan skating away from fights, say if you're a Titan, and then not being able to because you haven't got that ability to do that anymore. So, you know, it's just one of those things. I like it. I like the new movement mechanics. I like how it's a little bit slower, because it was annoying in Destiny 1. You'd get a Titan to one hit and then they'd just spam X a few times and they wouldn't get killed. It was really annoying. But anyway, the clan system is also being changed and reworked. I don't know much about it, so I'm just going to move on. I haven't really read into the whole new clan system. But 4v4 Crucible. Imagine if in just one expansion, one overnight patch, they said, we're changing Crucible to now be 4v4 instead of 6v6. it wouldn't make any sense. You couldn't plausibly do such a massive change in one expansion. Also, crucible modes, you know, the change in control, so it now makes a lot more sense with the scoring. You don't get little extra points for things like ability kills or super kills or heavy weapon kills or headshots or things like that. So it's a lot smoother and it makes a lot more sense, and the scoring is easier to follow. Also, another thing that they couldn't possibly do in just one expansion is the amount of super ability changes that they've done. So now Golden Gun, Fist of Havoc, Nova Bomb are so completely different. Golden Gun now has 6 shots but lasts a very short amount of time. Speaking on, they should probably make it last a little bit longer, because right now it feels really weak. It doesn't feel as strong as the other ones. Also, Fist of Havoc, it's now a roaming super. How could they have done that with a Fist of Havoc that they had in Destiny 1? It would literally, you could cause map-sized explosions every time you just press the bumpers just to Fist of Havoc. It wouldn't make any sense. And also, Nova Bomb is now so completely different, and I don't really like it, but I'll get onto that in a future video. Also, armor is now so different. On your armor pieces, it no longer says that your boots can give you 2 extra rockets or anything like that. They now give you resiliency, mobility, and recovery, which is a good thing, because they were basically the attributes that you would get given on your subclasses. So instead of them being on there, they're now on your armor, which is a good thing. You know, it's just a little change, and I kind of like it. It makes it so it's not as confusing with what armor pieces you have to use. You pretty much use whichever one you want if you want to move fast, take less damage, or recover faster, which is quite good. Also, the guns are now totally different. They've got different classifications. You now have, instead of it being primary, secondary, and heavy, it's now kinetic, energy, and power. Now, I'm going to go over the rankings that they have. So kinetic, not rankings, but how they're laid out. So in kinetic, you have scout rifles, auto rifles, pulse rifles, hand cannons, and SMGs, which are all non-elemental. In energy, you have scouts, auto rifles, pulse rifles, hand cannons, SMGs, and sidearms, which are all elemental this time. And then in power, there's a lot of power weapons, by the way. Let's just say in heavy weapons, in Destiny 1, you had LMGs, rocket launchers, and swords. But in Destiny 2, in the power slot, which is pretty much the same, you have shotgun, snipers, fusion rifles, grenade launchers, rocket launchers, and swords. And I don't know if you still have LMGs. If you do, that'll be pretty cool, because then that'd mean that power slots is the weapon slot with the most variation of weapon types, which is quite good and quite fun in my opinion. But anyway, back onto the video. They also just have set perks, which that would be a massive change to everything, because there'd be no more god rolls in Destiny 1, which, again, how could that possibly be in one expansion? All of these changes put together just make it so it's an impossible expansion to do. Also, 3-hit melee. Basically, in Destiny 2, when you were close range, it was more, well, before they did the whole secondary weapon patch where you didn't have secondary weapon after you died, it would just be like, oh, who can out melee the other person, rather than, oh, who can outgun the other person. So I like this new system because it's less reliant on just spamming RB when you get next to someone, and more reliant on you actually shooting someone to weak and then maybe finishing with a melee. I've not really seen many melee kills, but when I have, it's not really seemed like it's dominated the actual meta of Destiny 2 so far. So that's basically all of the changes and reworks that I could think of. If there is anything I've missed on any of these categories, by the way, just let me know, because I really want to understand what people are on about in terms of being an expansion. But anyway, let's move on to all of the new additions. Alright guys, so the new additions are basically just things that we didn't have in Destiny 1 pretty much. So basically new things that they're adding in Destiny 2 that are fresh and we've never actually had before in Destiny 1. So now, new weapon types. Grenade launchers and SMGs, pretty much quite good. SMGs seem quite good and fun, and grenade launchers seem quite good and fun as well. We also have new class abilities. We have the dodge for the hunters, you have barricades for titans, and you have the rifts for warlocks. They're also adding new supers, things like Dawnblade and Sentinel. I could have put Arcstrider there, but I don't really want to, because I literally just think that it is Blade Dancer, but just with different animations and a different staff instead of a small knife, because it's basically just a lunging arc thing that does mad damage and can kill someone in a one hit. That's pretty much it. They're also adding completely new story, new Crucible maps and modes, new strikes and new raids and everything. Now this is the point where people could argue, yeah, but you get those in expansions anyway, like Rise of Iron and Taken King. But in Rise of Iron and Taken King, what did you get? You got like 8 new story missions, 1 or 2 strikes, 1 or 2 new maps, a new Crucible mode, and then a raid. So that seems quite small. I can understand that being an expansion. But I can't understand how a campaign that's going to be longer than the entirety of Vanilla Destiny and Rise of Iron or Taken King. I'm not sure if it's all of them combined. I don't want to go all the way out there and just make a ludicrous claim like that. But it's going to be longer than Destiny 1's and Destiny 1 Vanilla, and then it's going to have like more missions and more strikes than an expansion and Vanilla Destiny combined. Pick whichever one you want. Also, there's new explorable planets and zones. You got those in expansions, but that was like 1 new planet or zone. This is going to be at least 3 that they've confirmed so far, which is quite good, and they're going to be huge in all, if all accounts are taken in from what they've said. They're also going to be clan banners, which is a new thing. These basically just show what member that you're loyal to a clan or whatever. Again, I don't know much about the clan system. I'll need to look it up a little bit more. They're also changing a few attributes. Like there's one on VOIDWALKER. Data made a video about this, which I'll put a link to in the description if you want to watch it. Basically, well, the perk is if you hold L1 as a VOIDWALKER, it charges your grenades and makes them a little bit better. I've started using this quite a lot in PvE after watching the video, but basically like changes how good your grenades work if you just use a little bit of your super and hold it in. I've not used it in PvP because like a super can really swing a game in a Crucible game, whereas it's not as important, you know, in a strike. So towards the end of a Crucible game, if you've wasted like a little bit of your super just throwing a few grenades, you might not even get a super that game because the ability cooldown is so long and you only get them right towards the end. Also, they've got new ships. Oh, these ships look so weird. I really like the new ships. They literally look like they were just like, these ships are a little bit boring in Destiny 1. What can we do? I know, let's just make them look like random cartoon inflatables. That'll be awesome. Let's go and do that. And to be honest, they delivered. I really like the new ships. I really like the way they look. They just look so futuristic and cartoony and funny and everything like that, and I just really like them. And also the new mode that they're adding, null sectors. I kind of want to see what these are. I want to do some null sector missions because I just want to go into a bad guy's base and just destroy their entire hideout and just feel like I'm actually clearing the world of evil like a good boy. Anyway, let's move on to the final category that I've got, which is basically things that they are getting rid of from Destiny 1 in Destiny 2. But let's just say, all of the things I've gone over so far, could you imagine if that was one expansion? Just the things that I've gone over so far, could you imagine if that was just one expansion and in one night all of that stuff changed? It'd be crazy, which is why I don't understand people saying, oh, it should just be one expansion. It doesn't make any sense. But anyway, let's move on to the next part of the video. Alright guys, now the things that they are getting rid of that were in Destiny 1 that are no longer in Destiny 2, let's just start off by saying 3 subclasses. They are getting rid of Stormcaller, Night Stalker and Sunbreaker. I don't know why, I don't really know why, but Luke Smith said that we would get to play as all 6 subclasses in the Destiny 2 beta. So I don't know why they're getting rid of those 3 in particular. They were the 3 newest ones in Destiny 1. But, you know, it's just one of those things. They're also changing the intellect strength. Well, not changing, but they're getting rid of the intellect strength and discipline system. There's no longer looking for the perfect rolls to change your ability cooldown for your melee or grenade or super. They are literally set things, and you can't farm for the same piece of armor and over again just to get different readings of strength and intelligence and all that. I think that's the way that they're going with Destiny 2. I think they're trying to make it more about getting loads of different pieces of loot rather than just farming for the best of that one piece of loot, if you know what I mean. They are also getting rid of artifacts. They are replacing them with clan banners. There's no longer going to be artifacts that give you like little perks or anything. There's just going to be clan banners. I'm not sure what they're going to do. They might even give you perks. But, ooh, imagine if the longer that you're in a clan, the more perks you get on your clan banner. That'd actually be quite cool. They're also getting rid of Grimoire. There's no more Grimoire. There's no more finding a dead ghost or completing a mission or completing a strike and then having to go on the internet to read about that piece of Grimoire, which just didn't make any sense and it was just annoying. Now, the last thing that they are getting rid of, all of our progress from Destiny 1. How could that be an expansion? How can they just say, weapons, nope. Armor, nope. Consumables, nope. Maps and strikes, nope. You know that raid that you might like to play with your friends every now and then? Nope, you can't do any of that anymore. How could that possibly be an expansion? It doesn't make any sense. The whole argument is stupid. Anyway, guys, if you have enjoyed that video, then please press that like button and the subscribe button and go do the same to the rest of ChaPow. Their names will be in the description down below. Also, go check out Phantom. His name will be in that description down below. And I'll see you guys next time. And goodbye. Guys, Duckling Pow here, back with another Overwatch video for you guys. Now, in today's Overwatch video, it is going to be a 1v1 against my good friend